Gagi.
The rocking motion in the doorway
Uy, gagi, ano yun?
the video, and you can see it's clearly the upper half of a young girl
Oh,
who is
shit.
dressed in old-fashioned clothes from
Babae?
the time.
Yo, what's up mga choy? So ngayon mag-react dito ngayon sa isang ghost video. And ang title nito guys is 10 creepy ghost sightings caught on camera or caught on tape. And ngayon guys, marami nag-comment na nakatakot raw itong video na to. And totoo nga raw na mayroong ghost ang nakuha sa camera. And naka 18 million views sa guys, kaya ito medyo challenging rin ito. And tingnan natin ang ating reaction dito guys sa video na ito. And click natin. That's so chills. Alright, chills.
Number 10, Ghost Jail. A YouTuber named Junked Up Kitten and his friends are exploring an old county jail. They take a video camera.
So vlogger na na-explore sa isang jail or kulungan.
Television series. Little did the small group know that on this night they would accidentally capture actual evidence of real ghosts. Junked Up Kitten wanders around the property with the camera close to his face while narrating. He passes by an ordinary-looking jail cell window.
Ito, slow motion guys, slow motion.
At the time, when he goes back to review the footage later, he makes a startling discovery in the window. It looks like his parody show.
I think wala, parang ano lang.
Real thing.
Oh.
From the other side of the glass, the colorless reflection of a man.
Parang meron pero hindi ko masabi if ano ba ghost ba talaga or isang reflection lang niya dahil naka-flash yan yung cellphone niya eh.
As if he is sizing up a newcomer. His mouth appears to be a thin, expressionless line. If anything, the ghost has incredible timing. Right when Junked Up Kitten says that he is looking for evidence of ghosts, one just happens to show up in the window. It's almost as if the ghost was trying to make its presence known. Perhaps it was
parang wala naman.
To get a hold of someone who could free it from its miserable cell.
Pero old na rin eh.
Ito,
number 9, tingnan natin.
Most people think of houses, hospitals, or jails when they think about ghost sightings, but some of the most unsuspecting of places can turn out to be the most haunted. This footage
restaurant to guys, restaurant
joint during broad daylight.
So,
a ghost suddenly materializes in a subway restaurant. It's in the shape of a human and almost appears to be getting a table.
Ano yun?
Gets back to its seat. The black shadow suddenly changes into a floating orb. At this point, an employee or maybe a customer
parang umupo pa talaga.
Ghost in the doorway. Whoever they are, they look stunned for a second and then quickly back away.
Ito yan, lumabas.
Into the human as it floats up to the window.
So, CCTV ito guys eh.
As if it's taking a look at the outside world. The ghost starts to rise and shrinks until it fully disappears.
Parang hangin, pero di naman masabi na hangin yun dahil
Number 8.
Parang tao talaga na naglakad eh.
Ghosts don't have to wait until night.
Ito naman, number 8.
Begin to haunt. As this Brazilian soccer footage shows,
soccer
crowd is happily cheering on their favorite team when suddenly a shadow ghost is sprinting through all of them. Look closely and you'll notice how nobody tries to move out of the way, even though a person is full speed at them. Not a single person tries to pull their legs in or even bothers to look up. They are so concentrated on the game that they do not see the ghost as it runs directly through a half-filled stadium in a straight line. Number 7, Fridge Ghost. A YouTuber named No Ghost Hunter grows tired of living in a haunted home and decides to videotape the disturbances for evidence. It's a little past midnight when he hears progresses into running footsteps and loud bangs. These noises appear to be coming from all different areas of the home at once. The next day, his HD TV literally begins rocking violently from side to side all by itself. The rocking motion picks up the corners of the TV hitting the entertainment center, and it looks like the base is going to break. Then the back and forth the other way. There is nobody behind the television, and there's no way they could have been using strings to do this. The day after, No Ghost Hunter finds a short video on his phone that he is 100% sure he did not make. The video is shot from the ground level of his kitchen. When you look at the reflection in the oven, you can see that the phone is literally floating in midair.
Tas yung cellphone niya guys, biglang naglaro.
Again. This time, No Ghost Hunter is able to film behind the television to show that this is not a prank at all. He waves his hand off the television to show that there's no wires.
Pag yan nangyari sa amin,
underneath the base to show that
ibubunda ko yung TV
from the entertainment center or anything like that. The lights cut out multiple times while he films. A few days later, he captures his refrigerator slamming open and closed again and again. The brazen poltergeist make sure its presence is fully known.
Linagyan na camera guys para malaman talaga.
A group of British
number 6
playing catch in a courtyard. When one of them sees something strange and points it out to the others, the camera follows his gaze. Face looking at them from high above. The sickly person looks at them for a second longer before
parang may tinuturo siya.
The group is now creeped out and wants to know who has been spying on them. They tell the property manager about the face they saw in the window, but she says that it's impossible. The room they are talking about has been locked and unoccupied for quite some time.
Oh, ayan, pinunta nila guys.
With them to
Tinasok
unlock
nila.
the door and show them around. They try and find the person, but the place is completely empty. There's no way anyone
So
could
pagpunta nila, wala naman.
The camera obviously says differently. The mysterious peeper has never been identified.
Ito.
Number 5, Old
Number
Pete's
5.
Ghost. There's a famous pub in Sydney, Australia called the Carlisle Castle Hotel. For years,
Sydney,
this
Australia.
local watering hole has been haunted by the ghost of Old Pete, a bitter ex-employee.
Uy, gagi, nahulog.
But not his
Yung mga ano, yung mga bote.
antics have been caught on camera no less than 3 times. The first
Tignan nyo.
time Pete was caught on tape, he was helping a customer. The unsuspecting man opens the
Nahulog yung beauty,
door
guys.
when Pete decides to grab 2 bottles
Eh, wala
of
namang
wine
hangin.
for himself. His ghost grip must have not been too tight though, because both bottles go crashing to the floor. Looking at the footage, there's no way that the shelf gave out or anything like that. The bottles were thrown to the ground with deliberate
Ano ba yun?
no one nearby. Another
Parang ano, vibrate sa kanyang ano yun eh, paglakad.
Witnesses, everyone is happily enjoying themselves when a hanging red
Ito,
wine glass suddenly
makain yung mga tao.
dislodges itself
Or
and
nag-order.
smashes into the counter. Glass shards fly.
Uy, gagi, nahulog yung ano sa sa counter.
Although this could have
Wala
simply
naman
been
taong
an
gumalaw.
accident, what are the chances that of all the red wine glasses,
Tingnan nyo buti guys, wala naman tao yun, no?
the server happens to be the one to fall and break? The timing is almost too perfect
Oh,
for
shit.
coincidence. Old Pete strikes again. The third and final
Ito,
tape reveals a
another
glimpse of Old Pete
Castle Hotel.
himself. The bar is empty this time when the angry ghost suddenly materializes in front of the security camera. If you look closely, you can make out Old Pete's head at the bottom of the
Kala ko ano.
screen.
Ano yan?
Appears to be waving. Many other bartenders and customers all claim to have seen Old
Ano
Pete
yan,
for
flashlight?
themselves in one way or another. It isn't uncommon for tapes to turn on by themselves, and the
Flashlight
bartenders
yan?
have seen what they can only describe as strange things
Or
while putting
multo.
down their registers after close. To make this all even stranger,
Gagi, parang flashlight,
all
ah.
the bottles that go crashing to the floor are always high-end red
Flashlight,
wines.
pero
This
yung
just so
cross yung
happens
ano,
to be Old
hulma.
Pete's favorite drink,
Ito, nahulog.
at least when he was still with the living. Number 4,
Number
the
4.
church disturbance. Steve and Jake are wandering around the woods one summer night with a single goal.
Gagi,
They
nakatakot.
want to explore an abandoned local chapel that's rumored
Abandoned
to be
local
haunted.
chapel.
As they approach, they see that
Ano
someone
to, mga kakahoy yan?
is all over the outside wall. The two friends instantly
Ito, may
get a bad
nakasulat
feeling
dito,
about
guys.
this adventure, but they swallow
Houses.
and decide to press on. The rickety main door is locked, so they sneak around back. Already, they don't want to be here much longer. They had explored an
Ito,
old
tingnan natin.
tower earlier in the day.
Gagi, bahay
greatly
to.
disappointed by a lack of paranormal activity, but they could tell this church is way different. The place looked and
Tingnan
felt
nyo.
quite haunted. They go up some wooden steps and enter through the back door. They shine their
Oh,
flashlights
shit.
into the church's main assembly. There's rows and
Simbahan?
rows of wooden pews ahead of them. They pass by a podium and
Gago,
notice a piano.
simbahan.
Then they head deeper
May
inside.
piano.
Now they find themselves inside of a small maintenance closet. They close the
Gag-
door behind
Yung
them.
dilim, guys, yung dilim.
Anyone sneaking up on them. It feels like anyone could be watching them right now. They see a ladder to the left.
mga tao to,
Steve is about to climb
abandonado na
it
talaga
until
ito eh.
Jake jokes that a body
Sira
is
na
going
yun.
to fall down on
Marami
him
na mga sira at
as-
luma.
So he decides not to. That's when
Pero wala
the
namang
piano
multo.
starts to play from outside.
Oh man.
Ito. Yung gano'n.
Yeah, turn it up, turn it up. Listen, listen.
Oh, shit.
Piano. Is that piano? Come on. Should we go?
Ay, gagi, yung piano.
Is that door open? Is that door open?
May ano.
It's
Kahit
a
wala namang tao.
haunting piano melody that fills the church. Steve and Jake
Yung
shut
piano,
off the
guys, is
flashlights
ano,
and keep recording.
kusang umano.
Whether or not they should
Nag-
go outside
ano.
or stay here where it's semi-safe. They realize that they can't spend the entire night trapped in
Kusang
the
tumunog yung
closet
ano,
of a haunted
yung piano
church.
kahit wala namang
So they
tao.
turn their flashlights back on to see who is playing. Sitting at the piano at the far end of the room is a black hunched over phantom. They scream and shut the
Gagi, nakatakot
Jake
yun.
cries for a
Walang
bit,
tao,
and
pero
they
yung
run
piano
away
is
to the
ano,
back exit.
kusang tumunog sa kanyang ano.
As they leave the church, they were hoping that the music stopped because it was over, but in reality, it was because the ghost had gotten up from the
Gagi,
piano
may ano.
to chase them. They run a good distance before pausing to look back into the dark
Tumakbo.
scenery. It seems like they've gotten away, but then the ghost finds them and they run away screaming. The camera cuts off as they fall back deeper into the woods. At least one of them
Gagi, nakakatakot yung experience nila dito, guys.
YouTube, where it's remained for the past 10 years.
Yung piano is ano, tumunog nang walang taong gumagamit.
Two girls
Ito,
are
number
in
3,
the
guys.
house when one of them sees something in the doorway.
Uy, gagi, ano
Pauses
yun?
the video and you can see it's clearly the upper half of a young girl
Oh,
who is
shit.
dressed in old-fashioned clothes from
Babae?
another time period. She is floating in midair as she curiously peeks in on the two children to see what they are
Pinunta kagad niya.
One of the girls still doesn't
Ano
see
yun?
the ghost.
Samahan ba yan sa
Shouts
bahay
at
or
something that's on television
multo?
and accidentally startles the ghost away. The girl with
Gagi, sumilip.
follows the ghost as it retreats. The ghost instantly teleports and now stares at them from the top of
Wala,
the
gago.
steps. The scared
Putang ina
girls
yun.
run out of the house screaming. They stop only for a second to turn around from the street. They can see the ghost girl walking across the left window.
Gagi, nakatakot yun.
It vanishes.
Ano yun?
and suddenly
Ano yun,
appears
men?
on the bottom floor in less than a second. They scream
Sumilip
louder
din
and
pag-
take off again.
Pag ano niya sa bandang hagdanan, nandun na naman yung
Back
multo.
in 2008, a man
Okay,
started to
katakot
notice
yun.
some strange activities around his house. He
Ito.
would often come home from work to find his dogs cowering under the bed, too afraid to come out. One of his dogs would only come out from under the bed
45
like
minutes.
10 seconds at most before going straight back into hiding.
Ito, aso.
Something was intimidating these large
Ay, gagi, yung
dogs
aso natakot.
badly. The owner starts to hear banging noises coming from all over his house.
Oh shit.
Starts to look around. He eventually traces the noise to his attic and goes upstairs with a camera for a closer look. Everything is completely trashed. Boxes
What
are
the-
overturned and clothing is scattered everywhere. Something has violently flung all of his personal possessions all around. As soon as he goes back downstairs, he hears another huge bang and runs right back up the steps. He puts the camera down and searches the empty attic for clues. A nearby metal bucket falls
Not
over
niya.
and he runs out of the room before he gets hurt. Another object
Uy,
hits the
gagi!
ground on its own and the camera moves to the right on its own too. The homeowner was too scared to look at the footage. He
Gagi!
waited a week before going back upstairs to get his camera. By now, he is understandably quite paranoid. He begins recording everything he does in his home, and
May ano?
not long before he has more paranormal evidence.
Ano, ito naman yun.
One day, his radio
Umaga na.
is static and a spirit orb rushes out the window. Later, someone violently jiggles the
Gago yung
doorknob to the
pintuan,
door
guys.
that leads
Gumalaw
to
na
the
naman.
attic. The door opens and shuts by
Yung una is
itself.
parang
The
buti,
radio
ngayon
goes back to
pintuan.
normal soon
Eh, gagi,
after.
dalawang bisis pa talaga.
Back to normal for a second, but then a paper towel roll suddenly flies up from the table to the couch, and the radio starts making more sounds
Uy,
again.
putang
The
ina yun.
video recording starts to get fuzzy too, as if a ghost is causing electrical disturbances by
Gagi, ano yun nasa hagdanan?
both of his dogs begin to
Okay,
look at
ina
the
mo eh.
same spot as if they are following something.
Aso, may aso
Whatever it was,
ka.
the man was never able to
Yan to,
physically
hinapin mo yung
catch
aso-
on
ang
film.
multo.
He was only able to record its strange and oftentimes
Yung aso is parang
violent
natakot.
behaviors. Before we get to
Ito, number 1 na guys.
if you've ever been curious as to what I look like in real
Putang mukha
life,
yan, ah.
then follow me on Instagram at
Dylan is chillin'.
with underscores instead of spaces. I also have a Twitter at YT
na, ito na.
where I post
Tagal,
video
ah.
updates. I'd really appreciate it if you followed me and feel free to send me a DM if you have any questions or suggestions. If you'd like to see
Sige.
more of these videos in the future,
Part 1 agad,
hit
part-
that subscribe
part-
button because I upload
part
a new
1.
scary video every Thursday. Number
Ito, number 1 na guys.
School. This footage comes from somewhere in the Middle
Putang ina
East.
mo.
A group of teenagers are curiously exploring an old school. They
Old
go up a
school?
flight of steps and pause when they hear a dog whining on the other side of the door. They all
Shit,
run down
ano
the
yun?
steps and gather at the bottom. There are
Gagi, kala ko ano,
attacked by a
kasama
group
niya
of
pala.
stray dogs now, but
So yun ang
they decide to
tinanong
and explore
nila.
the lower areas. The group finds bravery in their numbers and begins to joke and laugh again as they make their way down a long hallway. They open
Gagi,
the door and
nakata-
find
Putang ina
graffiti
yan.
on the wall. Other people had been here before them. Maybe this place isn't so bad after all. The teens grow a little more nervous as they continue to poke around. They are laughing less and starting to go
Shit.
silent.
The
Something
blackbird.
just isn't right about this section of the building.
Wala namang multo.
YouTuber named Zabin Jaguar translated
Ito,
the
hindi to
comments.
nakatakot na.
He says that this
Shit,
point,
sino yun?
the teens say that their phone shut itself off,
Kasama niya yun?
though it was fully charged only a moment ago. Another person was able to keep recording, though they probably now wish they hadn't. They enter one classroom in particular and get a dreadful feeling. Suddenly, a figure
Gag.
actually appears out of thin air and walks towards them. The ghost
Ano
is
yun?
missing
Walang
his
ulo?
head, but there's somehow no blood. A loud chanting begins as soon as the ghost walks towards them.
Gagi, walang
This
ulo.
may be prayers from a
Tingnan
nearby
nyo guys,
box.
screen
Amazingly, the group all appears
Yan.
to have missed the ghost.
Naglalakad na
which
parang
explains why
anino na walang
they
ulo.
continue to keep exploring. They wouldn't see the
Gagi, nakuhanan
until
talaga sa
much
kamera.
later, but when they did, they would never forget what was heading straight towards them in the
Tingnan nyo, walang ulo guys oh.
Thanks for checking out this
Oh
video.
my god, shit.
Be sure to subscribe because I upload a scary video every Thursday.
Oh shit. So yung pang-apat guys is yun yung mas nakakatakot. Yung pang-apat, para sa akin yung pang-apat talaga guys dahil nasa loob sila ng bahay and then pag video na may sumili sa bandang pultahan, pinunta niya kaagad. Pagpunta niya is nawala and pag video na naman sa sa bandang hagdanan sa ibabaw is doon na naman sumulpot yung multo. Yun na yun. Check nyo lang guys ang video dito ni Chills. Search on Teen Creepy Ghost and kayo na bahala misga and subscribe guys sa aking YouTube channel and let's go.